Drummers Against Implied Timekeeping, Richard D. Albus. I just want to give a brief summation on what I'm seeing on the internet with a lot of the drumming community, and just give you my view of what I'm doing in relation to those other great channels that I see. Clearly, Gordon Knudsen comes to mind with his fantastic mechanics. Adam Tamanaro, just absolutely very impressive on the production. And Austin's work, 80/20, and there's countless others. I respect them all because they're trying to bring what they have and their experiences to the table on YouTube here. And I just kind of want to do an extension of that, of what I'm bringing to those of you who come visit on my channel. Now, I apologize for the production issues because I am out in a rural area, in a place where sheep are my neighbors. So I don't have the access to the technologies that are available, like GoPro cameras and various other microphones. But hopefully I can bring to the table and help those drummers that come here know what to key in on to just become a better player. So this is just my view as opposed to anyone else's that is enjoying the drums as long and as much as I do. The thing to remember for every young drummer that's looking in, look at everybody on YouTube. We are the luckiest generation now, your generation, to be able to have access to all this information for free regarding drums, which did not exist for me 51 years ago when I started to play. So I want you to take full advantage of everyone that brings their experience to playing drums. The top priority, though, over everything, the number one priority to everything that we do is to have fun doing it. That is the name of the game, the enjoyment of it. If you're not enjoying it, having fun playing it, this must be a terrible experience for you. But most of us that do it, and we love it, and we want to kind of share that with you, so you have that experience to take with you. But what I'm bringing to the table, and you might not see this anywhere else, and why I want to kind of expound upon that, is my experience with playing a large amount of gigs, of the most variety you can imagine. I've done everything but thrash metal. Everything but thrash metal. And I'm too old now to join a thrash metal band. But if you can, definitely, if you want to try to be in a thrash metal band. But the most important thing, aside from fun, and what I'm trying to show drummers, are the mechanics that a lot of drum teachers online are showing are fantastic. I learn from them. They teach me, and I thank them for that. But what I can teach all of them, and I want all of them to look at what I'm teaching, is there is a mechanical problem that has existed on the modern drum set since it was invented. And drummers are amazing at adapting to the issues that come about on a modern drum set, with various ghost notes, for example, or the way we drummers adapt to music. But the future, in my view, from now to the next 100 years, is pattern forms. Drummers are going to be able to do much more independent things, as we see now. There's been an explosion of independence, which I knew about 10 years ago, and tried to tell a lot of players, because of the ability to start to separate the hands off. That's the most important thing. And in order to do that, you have to plan your parts out. Your left hand is playing, assuming you're right-handed, your left hand is playing time figures, either quarters, eighths, or syncopated patterns. And your right hand is playing another pattern that complements the left. I've done other videos about this, a convergence of things are coming together. But in order to do this, planning has to take place, and the drum set configuration. Now, a lot of these great people I have just mentioned previously do set up their drum set in a traditional configuration that has been around since about, in my opinion, 1928 to the present day. So you can imagine, I think that would be 90 years in a general sense, the bottom configuration, since 1928, give or take, and to now. But because of the changes in the mechanics of drumming and the music, the configuration is going to have to change, and with that, the open-handed position and match grip is the only singular way to approach it. There is no other way, unless you're carrying another arm. So the future of drums is definitely not traditional grip. It is only a supplemental thing for a jazz or, let's say, military applications. But for the modern drum set, between now and the next 90 years, you are to learn open-handed position, and you are to configure your drum set that lends itself to that. That's the best way I can describe it. I use two hi-hats, a closed and a remote. And I am of the thinking they are, as I've said previously on recent videos, the most important thing for you to be dealing with. Not lots of cymbals, and definitely not lots of toms. The essential thing is double pedal for sure, remote hi-hat for sure, and if you wanted to do a supplemental double bass, a remote bass drum maybe, but the double pedal on a single bass drum is essential. Things come off of that, I think, for the future, because as you develop patterns with your left hand in an open-handed position, the drum set has to match this type of configuration for the future. I don't want to make it too complicated. I'm just saying, if you have a traditional configured drum set, 4 or 6 pieces, 2 toms up, 2 toms down, make sure you can accommodate the remote hi-hat if you can to get that. The toms are not essential. They're just not, because toms are supplemental to the rhythm you're playing, whatever it is in any style. They color the music, but they're not essential. What's essential is obviously the snare, the bass drum, and I'm of the view now, 2 hi-hats. That is very important. All right, so this is why I'm doing the video. I'm trying to get drummers to look at what I'm doing in my catalog, even if I'm primitive, to those of you who may think that. Some of these things are very hard, technically. I know they are. But what they are is to get you to separate out your limbs. And if you're right-handed, obviously your left hand starts to become the timekeeper and its relationship with the snare. That's why most of the videos, I've done 200 plus videos, plus maybe 80 lectures and various other enjoyable things that I like to share with those of you who visit here. But I am out of my league talking and comparing my mechanics with, let's say, Gordy's, who's wonderful, or Austin and these various guys that are just absolutely fantastic. But the future is changing, and it is here now, and I want to stress to younger drummers to use your ears and to use your ability, whatever that is, to find your voice. You know, they used to, when I listened to a guy like Jack DeJohnette in the 70s, because I go way back, most drummers know Jack DeJohnette's a famous jazz player. I saw him do a clinic, and he was talking about finding your voice, and to a 18-year-old kid, I'm into rock and pop and some jazz, but my voice, what does he mean, my voice? And now that I'm 60 plus, I know what he means. You're dealing with your experiences individually. So you may not be able to play John Longstreth speed, or Max Roach's jazz patterns fast, or Buddy Rich's fantastic ideas. That's their voice. But whoever you are, John Doe, you sit at the drums, you listen to as much music as you can, and you develop your voice. The only thing that I want to stress to you is the mechanics have to be open-handed. That I will not yield on. Open-handed position, unless the pattern is extremely difficult, then you would have to use your strong side, very fast or something in particular. But there's too many drummers now that are open-handed position players and have developed their patterns as I think it will evolve, using the left as the lead, even if you're right-handed as your strong hand, and to put them together. All right, so this is just kind of my chiming in, praises to everyone that brings something to the table to what we're trying to do. I'm just adding to it by saying what we need to do now is to develop pattern forms with our hands, separating them out. With the left hand playing time, most of the things that you're doing, the timekeeper is the left hand, assuming you're right-handed. Now, if you have any questions on what you're doing in particular, on anything technical, ask me in the comment section and I'll answer as best I can. And welcome everyone who's visiting here. I have a very particular way that I teach in the open-handed position, and I want to share that with those of you who have so many choices. But here I have my particular way, and if you like it, please subscribe, because your subscription is the support for me to continue, and I want to thank each and every one of you who do support me. I have my PayPal account. I'll leave that in the comment section as well. All right, so I just kind of want to give you the idea of what's happening with me, and I'm not stopping, but I want to do videos that are relevant, that I think will help your voice get more creative. That's why I'm doing this video now. Go back and look in my catalog. There are so many videos, but the basic premise is always there. An example that comes to mind would be super shuffles. You know, any shuffle that I have, go to super shuffles. I think I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, based on Whitney Houston song, I'm Your Woman Tonight. Because I've done thousands of gigs, I have been lucky enough to be able to experiment on the fly. That's how I developed the ability to play thousands of gigs and experiment and test it. And what worked, I wanted to improve upon. What does not work, I want to kill. And this is the kind of the total of what I'm bringing to the table. On the technical side, or other things what other drummers bring, they're just much better, I think. I can at least appreciate what they're doing. But I want those of you who are here to know that the issue that I want you to understand is that there are mechanical problems that can be resolved very quickly from my experience if you do things the way I'm telling you. All right? They're tried and tested on the studio, especially. They'll work and improve your time. So go into my catalog, all right, and let me know what you think. And any particulars you have, please ask, all right? My best to all of you looking in, and I'm taking some time off again. Ciao.